Hey, CBU, welcome back to another online chapel podcast. I'm sitting here with Dr. Chessa Williams, who is a faculty member of the School of Performing Arts. Thank you for being here, Chessa. I'm excited to sit down and talk. I know we've talked a little bit before getting here, and I think you've got a really cool story that I think students can really glean a lot of wisdom from and encouragement. And so before we get into any of that, though, I want to just ask you, kind of introduce yourself to students who maybe haven't been in class with you or don't see themselves at the School of Performing Arts very often. Just kind of, who you are, maybe how you got to CBU, little background, family, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's so great to be here. I'm from California, born and raised in Central California, super proud Californian, and happy to be back home. Yeah. So I'm from Fresno. My husband and I are both from Fresno, actually. That's where we met. And we have a little boy named Judah, who's 3. My husband's a professor at Gateway Seminary. He's a biblical counseling professor. So we're just nerds. We have so many. We have so many books between the two of us. But both share that love for both for theology and higher ed. And I didn't go to CBU. I had no affiliation with CBU. And so getting to work here was my first sort of exposure to CBU, and I love it. This is my 4th year being a professor and a program director, and I still kind of can't believe I get to do it. Nice. It's so much fun.
And tell students, what do you kind of oversee at the School of Performing Arts?
So I'm the director of the Worship Arts Division. So that includes an undergrad degree in Worship Arts and Ministry, as well as a graduate degree in Worship Arts. So I'm over both of those and have the pleasure of teaching in both areas. And my seat on the bus is a little more on the academic side. So I'm a musician. I grew up actually as a classical pianist. So my journey into the worship world was a surprise to me. And we'll probably get to that in a little bit. But so I get to teach more like theology of worship, liturgy and worship planning. I teach a lot actually in aesthetics and the arts and spiritual formation for the whole School of Performing Arts. Wow. Which is really fun. So I get to teach all the majors that come through the School of Performing Arts in theater, commercial music, music ed, all take a class with me called Beauty, the Arts, and the Christian Life. Oh, man. Which is so much fun. I still can't believe I get to do it.
I kind of want to audit that class.
Please do. There's room.
Man, that's awesome. So I'm just curious, did you, thinking back to Chessa as a college student, was this part of your trajectory as a college student? Is this kind of where you thought you were headed?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. In fact, I was trying to actively avoid the worship world.
Wow.
Pretty actively. So classical musician. I kind of have always been a nerd. Loved to read. Loved the classical music world. Found so much energy in the rigor of that world and getting to spend hours a day with a score and really learning music deeply. And I didn't like the music I heard in the church, actually. And I always thought it was so lame that I felt like the music I studied at school just had nothing to do with the music I heard in the church. And it was really hard for me to understand why from a young age. And so I just wasn't that interested. Now I have a journey, probably like a lot of people, probably like yourself, because you're a musician, that when you grow up in youth group and you're the person that understands how chords work, you're thrust into worship leading. Yep. And so I did that, but I really didn't like it. And it was just really hard for me. I just felt the tension between those worlds. And so really was not interested in continuing to serve in worship ministry at all. So I went to college and I didn't go to a Christian school either. I see that now as something I'm a little bit embarrassed of, not because I think you have to go to a Christian school, but just it was such a sign of my immaturity that I had no desire or vision for that maybe being important. I think I was just super prideful and just really didn't think that was necessary or was going to give me any benefit in life. So that is embarrassing to me. And sometimes I'm jealous of my students.
It's honest though.
And I'm jealous of my students. And I tell them this sometimes, like, you guys have no idea how good you have it. You're surrounded by people that like build you up in your faith. And then you have so much support and you're catching a vision of what it means to live in God's world. And I'm like, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. So I went to Scripps College in Claremont, not too far from here. So women's college, very, very progressive women's college, and was not around anyone who thought like me and didn't know any Christians there. And so I had a great experience there, and the Lord really used it to shape me. It was an interesting time. But what I'll say is that it didn't start to bother me that I didn't know anything about the Bible until the summer before my senior year of college.
Oh, interesting.
Had a bit of a existential crisis and realized that I knew more about Beethoven than I knew about the Bible. And I claimed to be a Christian. And that bothered me for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And so I did what probably no one would do who's sane. And I thought I need to go to seminary.
Wow. Yeah, that's a jump.
A bit. But all of the sudden, I had a new desire that I had never had before. And it seemed to me like it was from the Lord because it was so inconsistent with everything I cared about and devoted my life and time to up until that point that I thought, I better listen to this. And for some reason, I just had like a really intense draw towards seminary. And I felt like I want to like learn the Bible. I love school. And I think that's how I want to do it. So I thought that would kind of be a pit stop on my way to the actual graduate and PhD I wanted, which was being like a musicologist in like the classical world.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll just be set back a couple years. I'll go to seminary for 3 years and then tackle that later. And then to my surprise, the Lord completely changed my heart when I got there. And the rest is kind of history.
Wow. So. Dang. What was like, what do you think of as just when you look back on that time being maybe kind of a pivotal moment for you, like in just your own journey and kind of how God is shaping you during this time? Like, were there any other like voices or, mentors or things that maybe you caught from other people during that time that kind of set you on a different course or different path?
Yeah. The first one was a book. So my husband is not a musician, not in the worship area, but he loves to browse used bookstores. And we were dating and he was just at a bookstore and he saw a book called Music Through the Eyes of Faith. And all he thought was, you have faith, you like music, maybe you'll like this. So he gave me the book. And that book really changed my life because it was the first time I had heard anyone articulate a meaningful and compelling vision for the role of music in the Christian life.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, these worlds go together.
Yeah.
Because I had only really meaningful experiences with music in secular spaces. It wasn't intuitive to me how they fit.
Yeah.
So that book was one of them. And actually I assign it to my students now because it's still something I love a lot. So
Dang.
I get to tell them about my relationship to that.
Yeah.
And my husband loves taking credit for my whole career because he found that book for me
Yeah.
in a used bookstore. And so it was that. And then when I got to seminary, I was so insecure because everyone knew all these Bible words I didn't know. I had never even read the Bible all the way through. People were using all these theology words like sovereignty and predestination, hermeneutics, and all this stuff. I just thought, I'm the dumbest person here. I don't know. I'm Googling the words people are saying like in class. I'm Googling the names of classes.
Yeah.
I think I registered for hermeneutics maybe my first semester. And I was like, what does that even mean? I'm going to take the class, but I don't know what that means.
What did I sign up for?
So insecure about that. And then I think the Lord really graciously brought me a mentor right away in seminary, Dr. Joseph Kreider, who is my professor. He's now the dean at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary.
Okay.
That I think the Lord just gave him like a soft spot in his heart for me and helping me find my way in life. But I remember sitting in my first worship class. And the only reason I was studying worship, by the way, is because I thought, well, I already know how music works.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to go to seminary, I may as well have some classes that are really easy because I'm already a musician. That was the extent of my, my decision making. I'm like, well, just at least, 20 of my units will be super easy. Jokes on me. But I was sitting in that first class and we are talking about music and its use in worship. And I realized kind of immediately that I had something that a lot of my classmates didn't have, which is that I had this really great education as an undergrad in the philosophy of the arts, in terms of what the arts are for, their relationship to culture, what they're supposed to do in the world, how they contribute to human flourishing. And that wasn't at the time a conversation that was as common in the worship space. Oh, wow. It was more theological, but not a lot of philosophy of the arts. And so I realized that I was the only person in my class that had read in the philosophy of the arts extensively. And I thought, oh, maybe this is how I can contribute, to my classmates, as I seem to have this, what seemed to me at the time a really weird background in philosophy and aesthetics. And then all of a sudden I started to care about these things in the context of the church. And so that kind of became a really early interest that was cultivated so much by Dr. Kreider in me, that he would give me different assignments according to my interests, to challenge me and give me readings and all sorts of things, and really steered my life. And from his point of view, before I saw it, he thought that worship ministry is something I should do, and something I should devote my time to. And I just listened to him. I thought, surely you know more than I do. Yeah. So I just thought,
I just need someone to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a good reminder, though, actually, as I look back, everything good in my life has been because someone else told me to do it.
Wow.
Like, truly.
Yeah.
And so it's a good lesson I still try to take to heart, of like, listen to what other people tell you to do, tell you you're good at, and point out.
Trusted people. Yeah.
I had no idea. Yeah. Trust godly people.
Yeah. That's so good. I think that's something that we really try to instill in students like early on, with just our, things we're doing in spiritual life. Like a lot of our SL night speakers, like we'll kind of touch on this, but it's true, like the importance of the people you surround yourself with, but also the people that can speak into your life, that are trusted, right? You don't just want to ask anyone, hey, what should I do, right? But people that know you and can speak truth into your life, and also just kind of challenge you when you need it, is so important, because that's such a huge part of the journey. I'm just thinking through, like, your story has kind of a lot of twists and turns, and I'm thinking you in undergrad and you're just like, worship, that's cool, whatever. And you're, in Beethoven and you're learning all these, you're becoming a more prolific, musician. And then something happens, you're now in seminary, right? And you go from seminary and now you're looking at worship arts specifically. And it's like, now you're in this position where you're teaching these same principles to other students, right? To me, I just see this winding road, and I'm wondering, like, maybe like, what advice do you have for students? Because I think sometimes there's so much pressure that students, and I'm speaking from experience. I remember when I was in college, and just the amount of pressure I put on myself to try to like figure it out. What am I supposed to do? We have live your purpose, as a slogan here. And sometimes we think our purpose is our career, which part of that's true, but it's really like, hey, love the Lord your God, right? And follow him, serve him. And I'm just curious, like, with the amount of pressure that students are kind of putting on themselves, given the cultural moment we're in, where it's like, man, the comparison trap, is everywhere on our phones. We're seeing the curated lives of so many people that we think, oh, they've got it all figured out, right? When in reality, you're just seeing whatever they chose to put on social media. But what advice do you have for students that are maybe trying to figure that out, or maybe feel discouraged? They don't know exactly where their trajectory is headed or what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. A couple of things. I felt that pressure so immensely, and because I was really school oriented, and driven, I felt that pressure so intensely. One of the things that I think about that I tell my students is take any person that is like your role model, like any person who's like, gosh, they're the job I want to have. Like that's the kind of thing I want to do. I bet you what they do and how they got there is just because in life they just kind of did the next right thing. That I think very few people end up where they are because of some grand master plan they hatched at 18.
Yeah.
Or even younger, that for most, and that's certainly true for me.
Yeah.
I didn't go to seminary because I felt called to ministry. That was the first day of class. Everyone was going around the table. Describe your call to ministry. I said, I don't even know what that is. Like, what is that? I've never even heard that term before.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And so that's not why I went. I just went because the door seemed to open. The desire was there. The door seemed to open. And that seemed like where the Lord was directing for just the next right thing. And I think that's true for most people. I think the result of very few people's lives is the result of a well-hatched plan. And I think that's because God is so wise. And a theologian I love describes God's wisdom as it means that he knows the ways to bring himself the most glory. That's what it means that God is wise, is he knows the exact right ways to orchestrate everything in this world to bring him the most glory. And he is so wise that he works so slowly in our lives and often unfolds plans for us really slowly. So if you had told 18-year-old me, hey, in 10 years, you're going to be a worship professor at California Baptist University, I would have said, that sounds terrible. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I was foolish, and there were just so many things that I didn't see as beautiful. And if the Lord had told me that, I would have run the other way from that. Thought, great, tell me how that happens so I can do not that.
Yeah,
not that along the way. So the Lord is so wise, and he changes us so slowly, and he unfolds his purposes in such gradual ways as a way of bringing himself the most glory. If I had had a well-laid plan, I would have thought that I got to where I was because my plan was so good, because I was so great. Instead, I look back and I just think, like, look at God. Like, look at all of these surprises along the way that were clearly not me. I wasn't even seeking after the right things. I didn't even care about the right things. I wasn't discipled. I didn't know anything about the Bible. I was a member of a church. I didn't have Christian friends. Like, I didn't have any of these things. And I just think, like, look at God.
Wow.
Look at what God did.
Yeah.
So he works so slowly as a way of protecting his own glory.
Yeah.
And so when I think about the live your purpose, I think there's two ways I think about that. If we like capitalize purpose, like the capital P purpose of the Christian life, is to be conformed into the image of Christ. It's what Paul says in Romans 8, which is the guarantee and promise that those who God justified, he'll sanctify into the fullness of the image of his Son. And so our purpose is that we reflect God, that we're made into the image of Christ, that we bear witness to him on earth as we live out the Great Commission, that we love God and love others. Great. Capital P purpose.
Yeah.
That doesn't do a lot when you're trying to pick a career or a major. But I think the little p purpose, which is the ways that God orchestrates for us to do that, the occasions he brings into our life because of his sovereign care by which he's shaping us more into the image of Christ, unfold really slowly.
Yeah.
And so the advice I have to students is to one, know that about God, because he reveals himself that way in scripture. Look how slowly and patiently he works with Israel. Look how long it takes him to tell the story of the gospel over thousands of years and generations from the beginning of creation to when he returned. Slow work. So clearly God loves this. Clearly he's so glorified by it.
Yeah.
And I need to see myself as not the exception to the way that the Lord seems to love to work. Sometimes he works fast. He gives us revivals. He gives us all sorts of things. I refer to my seminary days as speed sanctification because by God's grace, he changed me super fast when I was studying and learning his word for the first time. But usually his ordinary way is pretty slow.
Yeah.
And I think that I would encourage students to find peace in that, to know that the character of God is one who loves to work slowly to protect his own glory, and he wants to do that in your life too. Yeah. And so to be patient, to not feel like you need the destination in mind, but realize that the Lord will unfold your purposes in front of you. And often that comes in the ordinary way of, this seems like the next right thing. This seems like the next right way. The Lord is directing me.
And it seems like most cases we're not really ready to even see the destination at that point in time, even though we think we are, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so good. Chessa, thank you so much just for like being here and sharing some of your story with us and giving us some little drops of wisdom and advice. Yeah, I've just been really, I've been encouraged by it. I hope you guys have been encouraged by it. I want to hit that one more time, because that was a bar. God unveils his plans very slowly, and there's purpose in that. So I hope that encourages you guys as you're just navigating college life and growing in wisdom and knowledge and learning what it means to follow Jesus. So Chessa, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.